Hello, YouTube is telling me I'm live. Happy New Year to everybody who's watching this today. I hope you have had a good break, mums and babies and parents out there. So I'm Constance, if you have never seen any of my YouTubes that I do for Parenting Genie. I'm a lactation consultant and a registered midwife. And tonight, I would like to discuss breastfeeding when you have slightly or even more slightly larger breasts, because that can, for some mothers, be quite challenging. So where to start? I have to change the camera a little bit so you can actually see me. So please do not look at the mess behind me. That's one of those things. So now, I'm a reasonably average size elderly woman now, but I did breastfeed about just over 20 years ago still. And when I was lactating, my breasts were definitely larger, but they were still very, very easy to handle. So when a mother is larger breasted, quite often the breasts are kind of been further down, because of course you would not be wearing a bra either, and you may not even be able to know what you're doing when you trying to attach your baby. So I'm just gonna get my doll. So and I've got just a breast model here that I'm using to demonstrate. So a lot of mothers still these days will be taught to do the cross cradle hold, and then they find that that doesn't work because they have to hold the breast the whole time, otherwise the breast goes down again, because they need to make sure that the baby is lined up with the nipple so that the nose is opposite the nipple and you can bring the baby onto the breast. So then what do mums do? They sometimes take a pillow on, I've got a pillow here on my lap, and then they have the baby on the pillow. And again, the baby is not necessarily opposite the breast. So what do? They bend over to bring the baby over there. And then they hold the breast the whole time to make it a little smaller, shape it. We call it a C shape. And that works pretty well for some mothers, but they're sitting there and look at my shoulders and look at my back. I'm bending over the whole time, and I'm doing that at least 8 hours a day, because my baby feeds a minimum of 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours, 12 times, and some feeds are longer than others. And can you see what my shoulders are doing? They're up here as well, because I'm really trying to hold the position so baby is not coming off. But I really should be nice and straight and relaxed. The other thing that happens is, look what happens to my neck when I put the baby on. So I get neck strain as well. So what could you do to help your baby when you are larger breasted? So one of the things, first of all, is some mothers do find using underarm hold helps them, because they feel they have a little bit more control and they can shape their breast. Sometimes it's still called an old traditional language sandwiching the breast, because you just hold the breast. It's also called the C hold or C cup. So you can bring your baby on that way, and you have your baby sort of under your arm. Again, you can lean back, and that can work quite well for you. But as soon as you let the hand go, quite often the weight of the breast will fall, and the baby could lose the latch. Then you start off again. Now, one method that has been used for a long, long time is rolling something up around your breast. and putting it under your breast. So I've got my baby here. So I've got a face water here. So you can either do face water and bring that under the breast. You can see that. And then I can't really hold this at the moment. And for some of my clients, that's the same problem. They find that it rolls away and then the breast is heavy again. And so then it doesn't work. Now you could use just a other small cloth. This is a little silk cloth. You could roll it up that way and bring it down that way. And so then have the breast line up with the baby. So that is a possibility. You can do that on the other side as well. And then bring the baby on. The other option is to use that arm and have the arm hold your breast or support your breast. But again, you want to make sure that your shoulder is not up there. And then you could bring your baby on to that arm as well. So you've got the breast being supported by your arm and then the baby being supported as well. So that's sometimes something for a mother who may already have experienced a little bit of different ways to feed baby and has explored ways that work for her. Important is that the breast doesn't drop and the baby loses the latch. Another option is to not help lift the breast at all, but let the breast sit where the breast falls naturally and bring the baby really low down. So you can see I'm taking this pillow away now and then have my baby. And I could use even a little scissor grip and sort of shape my breast a little bit and bring the baby onto the breast that way. Important is always that the chin is the first contact to the breast, that the baby is opening the mouth wide, and that the heavy breast doesn't rest on the baby's chin because that's quite heavy. So, and that also leads to the baby sitting off the breast. Of course, there's other ways to do. You could do side lying. You could lie on your side, and sometimes that is easier because when you lie on your side, on your bed or mainly on the bed, then the breast is supported by the surface on which you are lying. And for some mothers, that is much easier to start off with. Now, I have searched a few other options as well for larger breasted moms and have come across a few lactation aids, we call them. And one of them is called Blissful Bonds. And in fact, the lady who's developed it, she has been feeding herself as well, and she needed to find something. So that's what it looks like. Now, this is made in Australia, and it's quite ethical as well, because what they use to stuff this with is old pillows, old hospital pillows. You can wash it. It's really, really soft. And it doesn't really have a smell. So, because for babies to have an odor other than their mums is not really that great. And it comes with different straps. So I chose for myself a pink one. Not that I use it for myself, but I do demos with it. And it has got, 3 different ones. So what you can do is you can actually bring it around. And actually I did it the wrong way around because I want to be able to master it a little bit better. So you got a strap here, so you can change that strap and make it a little bit tighter. And what you can do is you can actually lift up your breast and then it just sits there. And it's quite comfortable here as well. And that way you have got nothing to worry about. You don't even need a pillow to put your baby on. You just have the baby on that side, and you just can bring the baby on that way. So, and this is what it looks like from the other side. It's sort of a bit of a trendy handbag strap. I find it quite interesting. Yeah, so it's called Blissful Bond, and it's Australian made. So there are some of the ways you could help your baby when you're larger breasted. So to go through it again, could just lift your baby up a little bit where the breast sits. If your breast is not too heavy, or if your breast is really heavy, bring your baby to the breast further down. So you just don't use anything like that at all. And make sure that you are having a nice, comfy posture. Once your baby is latched on, you could also lean back, maybe not in an office chair like I am doing here in my very untidy office, but in a nice, comfy chair on your sofa or in your lounge room, wherever you're feeding, even on the garden chair if it's a comfy chair. And the other option is the option with the face washer and a little other cloth that you can put underneath there. You could also tie it to different position, as we talked about beforehand. The underarm position or football hold, it's often called as well. So you could try that and even lift your breast up a little bit so that it's almost like the nipple falls into the baby's mouth. Otherwise, you could use this way to just shape the nipple a little bit. I shall show it to you with my breast, my model breast, like that. And then bring the baby on. But then, of course, you don't hold. So you just take that on the way. You have quite a bit of weight then on your hand. So it's not optimal to do it for extended times. So you really want to have some support there. And otherwise we have also got what is called the C hold. So you can bring your baby on that way. And then once you let go of that hand, maybe lean back a little bit, because then gravity from the baby is coming towards you rather than you leaning over and holding the baby in. So there are different ways to try. Now, Parenting Genie has also got the ability to provide you with consultations if you need anything. So you could go on parentinggenie.com.au. There's also interesting information on all topics breastfeeding or all topics feeding generally, and other topics of growth and development. Next week, I'm planning to discuss a baby wearing topic again, introducing you to a different carrier. But in the meantime, have a look at how you can make improvements to your baby feeding if you are needing to have some support, and see how you go with that. Any comments, please put them down in the chat bar, and we are always happy to get back to you as well. On that note, all the very best with infant feeding and breastfeeding, and if there is any questions, please do seek some help, and I'll see you again next week. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.